Alright everyone, welcome back to more Tsukihime. Let us continue.
それともあなたの周りが特別なのかしら。遠野四季君。
The woman turns to face me. She smiles with obvious unbridled hostility. There's no mistaking it. It's none other than our school's latest substitute teacher.
ノエル先生っていいんですか？
そうね、先生って響きは悪くないけど、ここは学校の外なんだし、先生は外した方が何かと気が楽よね、お互いに。
Her footfalls reverberate in my ears. Noelle's getting closer. With halberd in hand and an unsettling smile plastered on her face, she approaches. I treat her as an enemy, take a defensive stance. I think you and I both know well enough that we're gonna take a defensive stance on this front because I am not treating her as an enemy. If that were the case, she would have dealt with me earlier. And I tried to seduce me.
無駄だってな。
Noelle leaps at me the second I ready my knife. The difference in reach between our weapons is too great. Faster than I can think to react, she swipes at my side with the butt of her polearm. I may have chosen wrong. My head spins at the overwhelming impact. The attack must have sent me flying over a meter through the air. I brace myself, ignoring the pain from the initial blow. My back hits the asphalt, and I'm unable to absorb some of the shock, but Noelle is already there.
ダメよ四季君。敵を前にしてあからさまに身構えるとか、もう甘すぎてにやけちゃう。私、臆病だからつい本気で打ち込んじゃったけど、まだ生きてる？
I prop my arms under me to try and stand up. But Noelle steps down on my chest with a heavy boot.
はーい、おとなしくしていてね。義理もなければ恋人同士でもないんだし、下手に暴れるとその首ボキッと潰しちゃうぞ。
I glare up at Noelle from the ground. I don't understand what's happening in the slightest. All I know is that this woman honestly wants to kill me.
くそ、あんたも吸血鬼だったのか。
なんですって。今吸血鬼だって言った。私があんな怪物と一緒だって言ったわけ。
Even I didn't think that. Her boot presses harder on my chest. She's seriously pissed at the mere insinuation she might be a vampire.
首筋に新婚なし、靴に染み込ませた聖水にも拒絶反応なし。ついでに言うと、私好みのファニーフェイスにも変貌なしか。はい、一旦審査終了。だっていいわよ、遠野四季君。
The boot in my chest is finally lifted. Now free, I stand myself up and try to get my breathing under control. I'm hurting all over, but I think I got off with only some light internal bleeding. Light.
はい、これメガネ。落とし物には気をつけなさい。
そうですか。そっちの横槍で落としたものですけど。
I take my glasses from Noelle and place them back where they belong. Now then, what the hell is going on?
とまあ、美少年が一人で出歩くとこんな風に危険がいっぱいなわけ。忠告がてら脅かしちゃったけど、勢い食べちゃうところだったわ。
She laughs like she made a little mistake. I'm at a genuine loss for words.
あれ？何そのノーリアクション。私たちのこと、あの吸血鬼に聞いてないの？聞いてないのね。あっそう。私みたいな雑魚は眼中にないってわけ。 まあいいけど、私も話題になんかされたくないし。いいわ、パパッとレクチャーしてあげる。簡単に言うと、私は町を守る正義のお姉さんみたいな。
Well, good job on that front.
あのクソ吸血鬼どもから人間社会を守る影の組織とかかっこよくない？
Like, where the hell were you guys when we were fighting Vlov? She laughs as she speaks, which makes it difficult to judge how serious she's being. As dubious as her explanation was, it does remind me of something.
教会の代行者ってやつですか？
ええ、その代行者。四季君は無神論者でしょ？だから実感は湧かないだろうけど、私たち教会は主の皆のもと、人の良き営みを守る意志がある。たとえそれがこんな末法の国でもね。ある日突然転任してきた魅惑の美人教師は、その実教会から派遣された正義のエクソシストだったってこと。
An exorcist, someone who purifies demons. I don't know if vampires count as demons, but it doesn't seem like she's lying.
わかりました。いきなりのことで信じられませんけど、信じます。どうあれ、これで2度目ですし。危ないところを助けてくれてありがとうございます。
2度目？ああ、そういうこと。でもまあ、今回は違うわ。たまたま危ないところに出くわしたんじゃなくて、私最初から君を狙っていたんだし。
最初から俺を狙っていた？
さあ、君が屋敷を出た時からずっと尾行していたの。私のお仕事は吸血鬼の殲滅だもの。その吸血鬼に従っている人間がいれば監視するのが当たり前でしょ。
Her logic tracks, but she's missing some important context. I'm not following Arquade's orders, and besides, she's a good vampire. We're both trying to save this city.
それは。
まあ本当なら真っ先に吸血鬼の方から殺してるんだけど、相手はあの怪物でしょ。私一人じゃ返り討ちだし、師匠は上司に飛ばされちゃったし。
I was just about to ask, so she wasn't following me the day I killed Arquade then. She only started following me just now. Ah.
仕方なく小さい方の獲物に網を張ってたわけ。
小さい獲物ってのは俺のことですか？
ええ、あの怪物が狂犬なら、四季君はプリッとしたエビちゃんね。吸血鬼にしろ私たちにしろ美味しい獲物なのは間違いなし。でもなんか様子が変だった。ここ数日君を監視していたけど、無理やり従わされてる雰囲気じゃないし、血も吸われてないでしょ。ねえ四季君、あなたなんであんな怪物と一緒にいるの？
I furrowed my brow and swallowed the words in my throat. It's not the way Noelle asked the question that bothers me. It's that she asked it at all.
おやだんまり。君は吸血鬼の仲間になりたいのかな？定番だけど、永遠の命が欲しいとか？
は？
The question catches me by surprise. I never even considered that, but I guess it would be a natural reason to seek out friendship with a vampire.
いや、でも。
That isn't possible with Arquade. I mean, she doesn't drink blood, and she doesn't create new allies or grant people abilities. That sort of offer wasn't even on the table. Now actually, you don't know this, but she wanted to drink your blood.
違うの？ならどうして？
そんなの決まってる。自分たちが住んでいる町のために吸血鬼を駆り出す協力をしているだけです。
I stare intently into her eyes. I'm not interested in going back and forth against her. But I won't sit here and let her say whatever she wants about Arkwade and me. I tell her as much with my gaze alone.
そう。君が噛まれていたなら、そんなザレ言と一緒に手足ぶった切って置物にしてるところだけど。残念ながら、ただの人間には手出しできないものね。今のは聞かなかったことにしておくわ。
Noelle turns around and begins walking away. She seems unable to accept the idea of fighting on the same side as a vampire, but at least she's calmed down a little. Or maybe my answer just made her lose interest.
ああ、でも忠告。さっき最初から君を狙っていたと言ったけどね。あれ、もっと深い意味なの。
I wonder if she knows about Shiki's ability.
この町に救った使徒は数年以上前から根付いているわ。私の師匠の言うことには審査のように昨日今日やってきたわけじゃないんだとか。吸血鬼は外から来るものばかりじゃない。案外身近なところにいて何十年も前から潜伏しているケースのが多いの。それも町で一番力のある権力者の家にとかね。
Yeah, I know. They can be anyone. They can be in my school. They can be my classmates. So on and so forth. Yes, yes, yes.
わかる？自分たちの町を守るとか言っていたけど、そんな曖昧なくくりじゃなくて、君は自分の身を守った方がいいってこと。
それはどういう？
だってそうでしょ？さっきの不死は君を狙ってきたんですもの。吸血鬼を殺して回る神祖じゃなくて、ただの人間である君をね。命があったらまた会いましょう。東野四季君。
So you're gonna stop being the substitute teacher? With that, the woman dressed like a nun walks away. As she does, she tosses her gaze to a street lamp. Maybe I'll jump up there and hop my way home all cool like. Nope, not happening. As if I can make a jump like that without a running start. Like if I could, I wouldn't even be human. Her thoughts blatantly apparent, Noelle continues on down the road, massive polearm in hand.
あれはあれですごい人っぽいような。
Indeed, she is. I mumbled, taken aback. As if uttering that comment took the last of my remaining strength, my knees give out from under me and I slump against the wall.
でも狙われたのは俺だって。
It's not fathomable. I'm cooperating with Arkwade after all. But that's not right. I don't know what the real reason is, but I have a feeling that it isn't. My vertigo returns with force now that my adrenaline has faded. With one hand against the wall for support, I make my way to the main gate. My chest hurts. I need to get to my room while I'm still conscious before my body completely gives out on me. I can worry about the rest later. But the gate is much farther than I thought. As my headache begins to ease, tension abandons the rest of my body. My back still up against the estate's outer wall, I watch as I drift off to sleep. Oh, is that Panther? White. The color pulls an old memory from the corners of my mind. Something I had long forgotten. Something I had no choice but to forget. Something that my father had ordered me to forget. It was a hot summer day. Huge, fluffy clouds covered the blue sky. The air shimmers with heat, and the keening of cicadas eats at me. The cries of the cicadas. It's so loud I wish I was dead. Cicada husks are scattered around. It feels as if the beating sun is right on top of us. burning, sizzling, scorching the clearing. A hot midsummer day. It's as if the world has warped into one massive frying pan. Akiha is crying. The little girl who's always following after me is weeping into her hands. A child is on the ground. He lies deathly still, his white shirt stained a deep red. I gaze down at them. My hands drip with that same red. No, that's not right. My hands are soaked in its blood.
Shiki!
The adults are here. Their faces contort as they realize what's transpired.
なんてことだ。
They drag Akiha away. The other thing is dead. Towering white clouds sail high above in the distance. Left alone, I gaze up vacantly at the summer sky.
お前が殺したのか。
The adults are yelling. They're yelling the killer's name. My name. Screaming the same 2 syllables over and over like they've lost their minds. Just 2 syllables. The adults call out Shiki as they bear down on me. My hands are drenched in blood. I still don't understand. Killing that which can be killed. Killing that which lives. What's wrong with that exactly? Oh, I wonder who brought me to my room. I opened my tightly shut eyes. My dreams were familiar somehow. Something I didn't fully understand. I'm in my room. I remember losing consciousness in front of the gate, but I don't recall how I got here. My mind is still sluggish. The events of last night come back to me in a scrambled mess. So many crazy things happened I have trouble processing it all, but one part does stand out. Arcade, the man in black, Miss Noel. It's a mix between these two, though. I might go with the man in black just because he has the same abilities as I do. That's freaky, right? I don't know. Man in black? Miss Noel? No one's gonna talk about the Panther? Let's go with the man in black. The man cloaked in shadow. Thinking back, he must have been lying in wait for me. He knew the path I'd take home. Judging by his form, I'm certain he wasn't human. Which means it's fair to venture that he was a vampire. Could Arquade's enemy have decided to target me now that they know I'm helping her? In any case, I don't have to worry about him anymore. That eye, twisted and seething with hatred, is closed now. The vampire was able to see the same lines I could, but he's been vanquished by the nun.
とにかくまず起きないと。
I have other things to worry about. Time to get moving. It's 7:30. Most days I'd be finished with breakfast by now.
翡翠はいないな。
Yeah, I'm thinking it's either her or, I am forgetting her name. Kohaku, that brought me back to the bed. Usually she's standing there like a shadow on the wall, but I don't see her today. I bet she came to wake me up a few times. And when I wouldn't budge, she probably gave up and returned to her other duties.
疲れが溜まってて目が覚めなかったんだろうな。
A deep sigh escapes my lips. I'll be sure to take a nap before meeting up with Arquade tonight. There's no point letting my thoughts linger over what happened last night. I can just talk it over with Arquade later. And if I don't try to have a normal life during the day at least, I might go nuts.
よし、まずは朝食だ。
Honestly, I'm not really that hungry, but I could use the nutrients. Especially after last night. My body needs fuel to shake off this fatigue.
Oh.
Looks like you haven't fully recovered then. I tried lifting my body off the bed only to find myself collapsing right back down. Like a tree felled for lumber. I tumbled shoulder first onto the floor. I'm stuck here, unable to move my arms and legs. Thankfully, everything is so hazy that I've yet to panic. My body may be paralyzed, but I'm breathing normally. Must be the anemia again, I think dully, as if it were happening to someone else. And just like that, I spend my morning on the floor staring at the clock until Hisui comes to check on me just after 8.
申し訳ありません。どうかお叱りください。
It's not your fault.
四季様の変調に気がつかなかった私の落ち度です。
翡翠は悪くないよ。いつものことだし、そう大げさに取らない。
I'm lying on my bed with my back propped up against the headboard. If it weren't for Hisui, I'd still be planted on the floor.
学校の方には姉さんが連絡を入れてくれました。体調不良による欠席でよろしいのですね。
うん、それで頼む。ちょっと疲れが溜まっていただけだから、学校を休むのは後ろめたいけどね。
立てなくなるほどの疲れはもう疲れとは言えないかと存じます。四季様は遠野家の長男。ご自分のお体をもっと大切にしていただかなければ困ります。
いや、ちゃんと大切にしてるよ。
I offer an awkward reassurance after Hisui's surprisingly harsh words. Hisui's reaction when she found me sure was something. When she first opened the door, she was frozen stiff for a few seconds. She then rushed over to help me, and with a face full of determination and purpose, she froze again for a solid minute. Flustered, she paced around the room for a few minutes before finally leaving to get Kohaku. Even though Hisui wasn't the one to physically pick me up, there's no questioning her commitment to my well-being. After that, Kohaku helped me to my bed and made me some rice porridge, which brings us to now. The one silver line to all of this is that Akia has already left for school. If I had fallen 30 minutes earlier, she may have been late.
とにかくありがとう、翡翠。美味しいご飯も食べたし、こうしていれば貧血も収まるから、仕事に戻っていいよ。
かしこまりました。ですが、せめて診察は受けていただきます。
Oh no, her?
今朝は荒木先生がいらっしゃいますので、これを機にしっかりお体を見ていただくのはいかがでしょうか。
Oh yay. What a coincidence. So that oddball doctor's here too, huh? I really don't think I need to be examined, but I doubt Hisui will just let this go. He's like, I'll go to Kohaku, obviously. Nope, unfortunately, I have to go see Professor Arak. Okay. Kohaku is probably busy with other work, so I'll see Professor Arak. I don't exactly trust her, but she is a professional. Scrapes and bruises should be right up her alley. Plus, I still don't know the extent of my injuries from my run-in with Miss Noelle last night. It couldn't hurt to get it looked at, just in case I have internal bleeding or something. Oh, she's gonna love this.
ご指名と聞いてやってきたけど、お客さん、悪いところは見当たらないわよ。腕の一本、目玉の一つでもいっちゃってるかと期待して飛んできたのに、これじゃ私欲求不満よ。あ、性的な意味もあるけど、主に知識欲の話ね。
I appreciate the concern. Despite complaining the whole time, Professor Arak takes a thorough look over my body. She checks the sound of my pulse and measures my heart rate. I also have her examine my legs, which have weighed on my mind since my fight with Vlov. Ultimately, she finds nothing wrong. Everything comes back well within the norm. With an overdramatic pout, Professor Araka appears disappointed that there wasn't something more.
ま、体温は少しだけ下がってるし。よし、つまんないから1本ぐらいお注射決めておきましょう。今回は試しにプラセンタ行ってみる？
That's weird.
もともと女性向けの栄養剤だけど、おすすめよこれ。
Placenta? The stuff extracted from uterine tissue? I hear it's mostly used in cosmetics, but it can also act as a stimulant for recovery from fatigue. They say it even has anti-aging properties.
お願いします。以前お世話になっていた医院でもたまに打ってもらっていましたから。
あらあら、話が早くて助かるわ。さすが病弱少年、痛いのは慣れているのね。
慣れてませんよ。基本は内服薬でしたし、注射はたまにしかありませんでした。
ふむふむ。じゃあもう一度お手手を出して。はーい、ザッキュー。幹部ごと患者のハートイチコロよ。
I seriously disagree with her choice of onomatopoeia. With my shot done, the checkup is over. Except... Professor Arak makes no move to leave the room. Instead, she lingers behind, her eyes fixated on my body.
博士、何かまだ他に要件？
そうなの。診察中にチラッと見えちゃったから気になって。
I'm banging the scar, right?
しきちゃん、ガバッと洋服脱いでくれる？
Okay.
はあ？脱ぐって裸ですか？
そうそうそう。真っ赤になる必要はないわよ。私もまだトーシちゃんに殺されたくないし。見たいのはしきちゃんの上半身。そちら、胸にすっごい傷跡があるんじゃない？
I called it.
そっちですか。まあいいですけど。
I'm not wild about the idea, but there's no reason for me to say no. She is a doctor after all. I take off my shirt and sit on the bed.
いいじゃないいいじゃない。メープルでジューシーな感じ。いい腕してるって思ったけど、こうして全体として見るとそそるわ。冬ごもって穴蔵ライフになってもしきちゃん一人いれば食うに困らないわ私。
She seems unable to contain her joy as she probes my shoulders, arms, and stomach. Touched like this, and given her bold choice of dress, I find myself getting a little worked up.
胸の傷跡を見るんじゃないんですか？
おっとそうだった。失敗失敗。おー、なるほど。なんか使ったにせよ完全に塞がってるわ。貧弱なのに代謝機能は人並みというか、生き残りやすいというか。すっごく残念。しきちゃん何も引くものがないんだもの。これじゃあ私も足しようがないって感じ？
After a couple of minutes, Professor Arak moves away from the bed, seemingly satisfied.
でもすっごい傷よね。普通の人間どころか映画に出てくる吸血鬼だって死んでるわよ。それ事故に遭った時はどのくらい痛かったのかしら？私想像するだけでドキドキしちゃう。
そうですか。何でもガラス片が降ってきて突き刺さったらしいです。
Flustered by her use of the word vampire, I explain something that doesn't need explaining.
あれ覚えてないの？覚えてないのね。ならそれはまた別の話としましょう。しきちゃんはここに帰ってきちゃったんだもの。どうあがいてももう逃げられっこないんだし。
Hold on. What did she just say?
なんて、なんでもない、なんにもない。それじゃあ私はこれにて退場。またいつかラブのタイミングがあった時に会えるといいわね。
Professor Adak leaves her heels clicking against the floor. Huh. Something about the way she walks reminds me of a spider skittering after its prey. It's afternoon now. After having a light lunch, I return to my room. History urged me to get some rest today. Not that I have anything to do in the first place.
体の調子は戻ったんだし、ここは
Okay, Tough call. Tough call indeed. I'm on the second floor right now, right? I guess we can do the second floor. After mulling over what to do, I decided to take my first walk around the estate in 7 years. I'll start with the second floor. The Tohnos mansion is split into the east wing and the west wing. The east wing contains Akia's office and even further in, her private quarters. It's practically her own little kingdom. I'm a little hesitant to intrude, so I'll stick to the west wing for today. I make for the west hallway. The path to my right connects to the lobby. Continuing forward would take me into the heart of the west wing. And of course, my own room is directly behind me. Almost every room facing this hallway is empty. They would have been used by extended family members when my father was alive.
この先の行き止まりが確か
Makihisa Tohnos' study. Arkoid's words from last night linger in my mind. It's not just you that's special, it's your lineage. That's absurd. But then again, she's not the type to assert something without good reason. Oh, we all know I'm gonna do it.
秋葉は学校に行っている。小白さんは買い物で留守。翡翠は1階で清掃中か。
I'm completely alone. Some might consider it taboo to snoop around the dead man's room, but this is my house too. Don't I have a right to know what's in there? Besides, what's the harm in taking a quick peek inside my dad's room? Right? Doesn't hurt to learn a little something. The door at the end is locked. I take off my glasses and slice through the lines slitting on the lock. Smart. There's no going back now. After a quick check back down the hall once more to make sure nobody else is there, I venture in.
なんだこの部屋。暗すぎないか。
Even with the curtains closed, it shouldn't be this dark. I grope around the wall for a light switch before stopping myself. Turning on the light would only broadcast the fact that somebody's in here. I'm probably just being paranoid, but I end up opting for my phone's flashlight instead.
なんだ。思ったより片付いているじゃないか。
The interior is similar to Akia's office. I suppose it's only been a month since he died, so it's not too surprising it's still like this. Even his bookshelf is the same as it was before he died. Which begs the question, why is it so dark in here? I shine my phone towards the windows to see what's up with the curtains. Holy crap, why is it chained? Underneath the darkness, I find something you'd never expect in an ordinary room. A seal of some kind.
鉄格子。なんで
Why is the lock so small? There should be like multiple locks. None of this makes any sense. But it's hard to deny something when it's staring you right in the face. In place of windows, I find a section of solid wall. It was this, not curtains, that was blocking out the light. Thick set of iron bars had been mounted across the wall, as if to keep something out. Or perhaps to keep something trapped within. This looks really bad. I don't know what this darkness means, but I do know that I've stumbled upon something I've never should have laid eyes on. A cage of madness. That's what this is. I have to get out of this room right away. The others can't know I was here. Not Akia, not Kohaku, not anybody. If someone found out, they'd probably damage our relationship beyond repair.
いや、ここまで来て何ビビってるんだ、俺は。
I mean, we're already inside, right? I continue searching the room, my phone lighting the way. The bookcase also catches my eye, but I don't have time to rummage through it. I'll search Makihisa's desk first. That old man always kept things just so. If there's anything to find, I'm sure that's where I should look. He might have documents on Akia, me, or the company hidden in one of his drawers. The first two drawers are unlocked, so I check them first. They're totally empty. The third drawer down, however, seems to require a key. I'm guessing this is one hasn't been opened since my father died. I take off my glasses once again and kill the lock.
本日記帳かこれ。
I gotta say, that's just such a you know, what you call a convenient ability to have right now too. His eyes are useful for locks too. Inside the last drawer are a bundle of old papers and a thick book. The papers look to be a Tohno family tree.
なんだってこんなところに。けど、随分と古い紙だな。
This must have been passed down from generation to generation. Bingo! Right below Makihisa Tohno, I find Shiki Tohno and Akia Tohno. Wait a second.
なんだこれ。親父のやつ、9年前に養子を取ってる。あ、けどすぐに病死しちゃってるな。
9 years ago, I would have been 8. I may have been young, but it's pretty weird that I don't have a single memory of them. Maybe it was the child of a mistress that was kept under wraps? But could that old man I know, always no nonsense and buy the book, really do something like that?
そんなわけないか。けど、うちの当主ってみんな短命なんだな。親父も50前に病死したわけだし、その前は30歳の時に事故死。その前は18歳で自殺している。
That's pretty unfortunate for all of them. Hang on a second. That's too weird to just be a coincidence. I pore over the family tree. I didn't read it wrong. Everyone in the Tohno family has died under mysterious circumstances. Suicides, accidents, murders, unexplained disappearances. Not a single person on here died peacefully at the end of a long life. I don't know how else to explain it other than that they were cursed. The thing that sticks out the most is that the majority of them took their own lives. Many killed themselves on the eve of their own adulthood, or soon after. Light fades from my vision. There's a sensation of blood pooling in the back of my head. Numbness is spreading through my arms and legs, and my breathing grows shallower with every second. There's some dark truths we're learning right now. My gaze drifts back to the journal, focusing in on it to ward off the rising feeling of vertigo and dread. I flip the page. This one's dated 2004. That's the same year the child Makihisa adopted passed away in secret. My eyes dissect each word before moving on to the next. The writing is neat. It looks to be penned by my late father's meticulous hand. I feverishly read the page.
トーノの一族は呪われている。近代に移ってから生まれてくる子供にはのからの覚醒遺伝が。
This entry is almost 10 years old. The ink has faded in places, making the words difficult to decipher.
もちろん、私も私の子供たちも例外ではない。秋葉には特に強見られる。我が子の未来を思うと悲しい。紹介された医師の話によると、幼年期から厳しく教育すれば発言は。今夜も手術が必要だという。秋葉に教えることはできない。 あの子は私を恨むだろう。理由なく厳しく当たる私を憎むだろう。それも全て遠野の。
Did someone come into the room?
だが私は安堵している。どれほど明葉がの血に近と言っても、あの兄に比べれば明葉ははるかに人間的だ。
What is this? The Tohnos family is cursed? Latent genes? Surgery for Akiha? And who's that last line about? Her brother? Her brother? Her brother? The answer is obvious.
こんにちは、四季君。
Ah, it's the bandage dude, isn't it? My stomach feels hot. The scar on my chest has gone numb plenty of times, but this is an entirely new experience. An excruciating pain erupts from within, like my organs are being branded with an iron rod. Sensation begins slipping away from my toes. I slump against the desk, attempting to brace myself with my hands, but unable to maintain my grip, I fall to the ground back first.
その日記はまずい。何しろ、まだ検閲が済んでいない。君に見られる予定もない。
I got the bad end. Damn. My mind drifts away. The man's voice, it's...
君にはもう少し、あの未熟な当主殿をかき回して欲しかったのだがね。どうやってかは知らないが、鍵を手に入れたのが君の不運ということだ。
How the hell did you not hear the door opening, dude? By the time I notice, my breathing has long since ceased. The lines, once clear as day, are gone, as is my headache. Of course. Only now does it dawn on me. Those insufferable headaches were also kind of a salvation. I mean, how am I supposed to wake up without them? Chiki Tohno, whose body has lost its function long ago, drifts off into an eternal sleep. Bad end number 2. Okay, well, I guess I wasn't supposed to do that. Okay, I'm not gonna explore it. I shouldn't do anything too hasty. Arcade's words still rest uneasily on my mind, but there's no guarantee I'll find what I'm looking for in the old man's study. Actually, you will, but you'll pay for it in the end. What would I say to Kohaku or Hisui if they caught me snooping around? There's too much risk involved. I decide to walk around the first floor instead. I find myself squinting from the sunlight peeking through the windows. The lobby never ceases to amaze me. When I was little, I used to get in trouble all the time for exploring the mansion. It seemed like a castle back then. I was so certain that if I looked hard enough, I would find some secret passageway into another world. That sense of adventure is gone now, though along with my nagging father. They're on the past.
懐かしいな。昔は屋敷の廊下を歩くだけでドキドキしたっけ。
7-year-old memories of sneaking through the lobby begin to resurface. Spurred by those echoes of the past, I begin my stroll around the mansion. I head outside to the terrace. Strange as it is, I have a better recollection of the grounds than the mansion itself. It's hard to fathom just how enormous the estate is. If the mansion itself is 10 times bigger than most houses, then the land beneath it must rival the size of an amusement park. To a 10-year-old like me, it must have seemed like a dreamland, a fantasy world that I could call my own. I'd spend the day roaming around, carving my name into the trees and the dirt. Akiya and I had a game where we'd see who could claim the most territory. We decided at one point that we controlled any area we carved our name on. From there, we set out to tag pretty much everything we could find. Most of the time we spent together was actually out here in the garden. Though unlike me, she listened to Makihisa, so she could only play for 30 minutes a day. Even so, all she ever did was follow closely behind us, listening carefully to what we said. But once she got going, she'd run around, turning everything into a competition. Alright. This we speak of, it's you and Akiya and... whom else? Who
なん
else?
だあいつ昔から今の性格の下地はあったんじゃないか。
Could it have been a facade? An act she was putting on in front of an old man? Still, even if that were true, she changed too much. Or maybe I just didn't understand how long 7 years can be. Time passes and children grow up. Neither of us who we were back then.
Oh, あったあった。
There's a gazebo in the courtyard. At the base of one of the pillars, hidden from the sun's gaze, I find a name etched into the stone. I circle around the building, counting the names as I go. Shiki, Akiha, Shiki, Shiki, Shiki. It looks like this place was fought over 5 times. Most places are the same, with my name appearing a lot more than hers. Akiha was still a little girl. She probably just couldn't keep up with my boundless energy.
まったく手加減ぐらいしてやればよかったのに。
Although it's not like I can go back and change what happened just because I feel bad about it now. Akiha has always hated losing. From the looks of this, I bet I made her shed quite a few tears.
そうか。案外この恨みを今になって晴らしてるのかもな、あいつ。
Akiha is the last person I expect to do that, but there is something incredibly adorable about the thought of it.
ああ、なんか俺もとことんバカ兄貴だ。
I chuckle wryly to myself before lifting my head. I've had some fun walking down memory lane. Maybe it's time I head back in. But before I turn to leave, something catches my eye. I spy another marking scratched into the underside of the gazebo ceiling.
あんなところに。
How did that get carved there? I doubt an adult could even reach that high, let alone a child.
なんだろう。俺の名前だけど。
From within the gazebo, I put my feet up on the handrail to get a better look. It's well hidden. Adults wouldn't be able to see it unless they crouched at the correct angle. There, looking in the hidden corner of the ceiling. Beware your brother. I don't understand. Beware your brother. This isn't Akiya's handwriting, which would mean I wrote this. A sudden sound draws my attention. Through the trees, I glimpse the brown and white of the maid's uniform.
あれ翡翠。
She hasn't noticed me. For whatever reason, she continues further into the forest.
なんで森に。
All that's out there is more trees. So what could she possibly be doing? Curious, I decide to follow her for a bit. There's a path through the forest, though it hasn't been paved. They say these woods were once the main part of the Tohnos family estate. Originally, the land where the mansion and the garden stand was just the entranceway to this forest. But after the war, the head of the family decided to change things to how they are now. I proceed through the woods. The trees aren't too dense, but they seem to stretch on into infinity. Eventually, I spot a strange building.
あんな建物あったっけ。
I half expect History to go inside, but instead she walks in the opposite direction. Maybe it's some kind of temple or gathering hall. I continue treading along.